Hello and thank you for joining me on WOW's YouTube channel. I've got a really awesome tutorial tonight for you that is going to take your decorative papers or your pattern backgrounds that you've created yourself and turn them into fun, new, jazzed up backgrounds. So on the right, I've got a whole bunch of panels that are left over from the last few videos that I have done on my channel, and we're going to take them and create them into something new and a bit more blingy and fun. If you haven't got background papers that need using up, then regular designer papers work perfect. You can use Christmas papers, whatever papers you've got. This rainbow twirl, I've gotten the rainbow twirl and rainbow twirl 2.0, and they are my ultimate favorite papers. They're stunning and you're going to see me use them a few times. I'm also going to use embossing powders. I'm using the WOW embossing powders. I've got the sort of basic set and I'm going to focus on silver and gold today because I feel like those are nice and easy to match. I'm also going to use some foil card behind my papers as sort of like a background layer. Getting started, I'm trimming them all down. I'm either trimming them down 1/2 centimeter smaller, so I've got just a nice little border around my card base, or I'm trimming them 1.5 centimeters down so that they are then ready for the next sort of stepped up phase. I'll share that with you in a minute. So you can start by trimming down your papers to the right size to fit your card base. I gave myself a little border on each of those card fronts just so that I could then do my technique with it and have a nice border. Now there is no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing now. I am just slicing and dicing. You can do as many or as few cuts as you like. If you are using papers that don't really have a pattern to them, make sure you're paying attention to what you're doing, because I cut all these up and then went, oh dear, how did they line up again? So pay attention to what you're doing. Maybe put them to the side in the same pattern that you're cutting them in so you don't lose track of how those all fit together. We're basically creating a puzzle and then piecing it back together, and I'm going to give you 2 different ways of how you can do it, and then you can decide what you think looks nicer or prettier and maybe have a go yourself. So just get your paper trimmer out and chop it up. Just chop it however you like to chop it. I didn't want to do too many cuts because you'll see in the next step you then do have another process to do, and it can be quite time consuming if you have a lot of pieces. I'm getting out my embossing ink. This is a sticky ink that will hold on my embossing powder. Now, when I started this, what I should have done was got my anti-static powder bag. You can use cornstarch or cornstarch or baby powder. They have the same kind of effect. You can just put it in a little cloth bag or an old sock and just kind of dab it on. Will work the same. But these backgrounds I made last weekend, and they were made using tacky glue. So you can see when I put down my embossing powder, even though it's not tacky to the touch, it is tacky on the top, and that embossing powder just sticks to the whole panel. So what you want to do is make sure that if you are using some backgrounds that you've created, that they don't feel at all tacky. If they do, use your anti-static powder bag and sprinkle some of that on there or dab some of that on just so that it doesn't stick too much. But the handy dandy paintbrush always does an excellent job at removing any of the excess powder that I don't want there. Now what I'm doing is I am inking up only my inside edges. So it's really important to kind of keep your pieces all together as you're going, so you can see which bits are your inside edge and which bits are your outside edge. You could just do all the edges if you felt like it, but I really liked the effect of it just being the middle section. It kind of gives it this sort of cracked ice, like shattered sort of glass look to it. It looks really cool at the end, so bear with. Don't turn off the video too quick. It does look quite cool when we're all done. Now a top tip, again, retrospectively, I should have taken a picture of my little pieces as I had cut them up first, so I knew exactly where they were going when I was putting them back together, because I did go ahead and add on my embossing powder to each piece before I heat set them. And another top tip would be to heat set them as you go, so embossing powder, then heat set, then embossing powder, heat set, so you can then put them back in the pile exactly where they came out of their little position for the front of your card if you've not got a pattern to work with. That would really help out. And this way, when I was doing it this way, I also had to be really careful not to knock any of that embossing powder off that I had already stuck on. So I thought it'd be clever to do it one at a time, or sorry, all the pieces at the same time, and then heat set them all at the same time. But it's actually much easier if you do each piece as you go. So put the embossing powder on and heat set it at the same time. Now here's where I ended up with my hot mess. I was like, what in the heck? How does this work? How does this fit? And you can see my predicament here. I really struggled. So I turned off my camera, worked it all out off screen. Could have saved myself a lot more time if I had taken a photo of it first. Then I'm going ahead and putting down some sticky adhesive. You could use liquid glue if you want. I wanted to use tape runner because it was a bit faster and quicker to do. And I got out my stamp platform just because it's got two edges on it. So it's got the left edge, and you can't see it right now, but it's got the bottom edge as well. You'll see it in a second when I do another card. You'll actually see the whole screen. I'm really sorry that my footage is a bit off, but I'm just using the edges in my stamp platform to be able to line this up perfectly. And I cut that white square piece of card to be exactly the same size as my original panel, so I'm literally sticking it back together like a puzzle piece. And you get this gorgeous sort of cracked look through the middle with that embossing powder making those cracks really pop. And I accidentally did that edge. Whoops. I didn't want to do the outside edge, but I did that one by accident. Here's the one in black where I did 4 cuts. And when I pieced together the exact same as the first one off screen. Now, if you've got your pattern paper, this is much easier to work with. If you've got a nice, gorgeous pattern, that's easy to follow. So I did the same thing. I just chopped it up and got all my pieces. And then for these ones, I've used gold embossing powder. Again, I went ahead and slotted them together, but it's so much easier when it's got this nice, big, bold pattern on it to know exactly where you're going. Now for this one, I used gold as my backing piece of cardstock. That way, if I want to add some foam to it and pop it up, you only see the gold underneath, not a bright white cardstock. So for this one, I am adding on my sticky individually because I'm going to also use the foam stickers and pop up some of those panels. Now you can see where I'm using my stamp platform and just using the edge of that. So if you have like a scoreboard, that would work, or just anything with 2 edges where you can kind of push your panel in the corner. It makes it so much easier for lining up those pieces to go on top. It's actually a trick I learned from Jennifer Maguire years ago, and I thought actually that's really clever to be able to slot things down and get them nice and even. So I'm adding some foam tape to some of these, and other ones I'm just lying flat down. I'm not trying to think too much about it, just kind of piecing the puzzle back together and lining it all up. And then when you see it from the side, you can see that those panels are popped up, but you can see the gold underneath rather than like a white piece of blank card. Now, if you'd like to find any of the supplies used for today's video, they should all be down in the description box below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to WOW's YouTube channel for more awesome tutorials by loads of other inspirational crafters. You can also find all the links to my social media down in the description box as well. For the next version, we are going to add some spaces in between these cracks. This can be a bit tricky. The more cuts you have, the more spacing out you got to do, the more wonky it can go. But it is really fun and satisfying. And I'm using low tack tape from scrapbook.com. It's basically post-it note tape. So if you don't have any of that, you could use post-it notes and just take the sticky bit off of the post-it note and use it to kind of hold this in place. It doesn't wreck or adhere to your projects permanently at all. It comes off really, really nice and easy. I'll link this tape down below because it is amazing. So I've gone and spaced out each of those little tile pieces just a little bit away from each other, made sure I like how it all looked and that it kind of roughly gave me a rough rectangle again at the end. And then I flipped it over and I'm adding my adhesive onto the back of it. Because I'm working on top of foil card, I find that using a tape runner is much easier than liquid glue because liquid glue can be slippy sliding and take longer to dry and also seep out the sides. And I'm matching my embossing powder to my background cardstock, or matching my background card to my embossing powder. So if I'm using silver, then I'm doing it on silver. Now I'm taking all those little pieces of low tack tape and I always save them and I use them until they're not usable anymore, and I stick them on top of my tape roll so I can grab them again and use them later on. So that first one went a little wonky on the edge, but here's the one I did with pattern paper, and I love how it looks. I love the gold underneath shining through that rough kind of gold edge. Love how it looks. And again, as a reminder, here's the before ones where we're sticking them all nice and tight together, and then the ones with the gap behind it. So you can see the side-by-side comparison here. I don't know which one I love more. What do you guys think? Tell me which one you like. Do you like spaces or no spaces? Do you like it popped up with a bit of dimension and tight together? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Now, another version that we can do, another way to step up this card is to use dies. Now, I love making square cards, so I'm going to trim down my paper from 6 by 6 inches to 5 by 5 inches, and then I either stick it on top of a 5 1/4 inch card base with a layer underneath, or I add it onto a 6 by 6 inch card base with a nice big gap around the edge. Now with these ones, I am following the exact same method, so I'm doing the inside edges on every single one of these die cuts. I found it easiest to pour my powder down onto my little scrap bit of paper and just sort of roll my cardstock around in it, tapping off the excess, and that gave me a really nice way of getting the ink around the edge of the card. So there it is, all inked up. And then the inside edge, I just took my finger dauber, dragged it along the inside. A sponge would work as well, just something nice and kind of flat-ish so that it doesn't give you jagged edges and marks of ink around it. It's also impossible to see the embossing ink because it's clear. It's so hard to see where you've put that ink, so I kind of do go around probably twice around my edges just to make sure I covered it. So once I've got the embossing powder on both my pieces, I then go ahead and heat set it, and I'm adding it onto a, again, coordinating piece of foil card. So once my panel is stuck down on my gold cardstock, I go ahead and stick on the middle bit. And it's up to you whether you want to put foam tape on or just glue it straight flat back down. Both look great. You'll see both. I've got an example of both of them for you today as well. I love either. It just looks so cool having sort of that break in the middle of your card background. Now let's say we want to get the same kind of effect as the second cards that we did in the beginning of the video. All we need to do is take 2 dies and put them together on our card front. So if you've got layering dies, this is a brilliant way to get that same effect. So there you can see I got that little piece that popped out, that little layer, and that's going to give us that space in between our 2 pieces. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to ink up and emboss the inside edges of both my pieces, or I guess the outside edge of this one. And then now we will have a gap in the middle. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add it onto some gold foil cardstock. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure how I managed this, but I think my embossing gun must have got too close or too hot and it warped my paper a bit. But I got this little bubble here on the top right, but I just kind of squished it as hard as I could and it looked okay in the end, so I'm not too worried. I'm going to pop the center up on some foam, and now you can see that gold gap, and we've got the gold edging on both those inner pieces, and it just looks stunning. I think this is my favorite by far out of the ones with using dies. I love how that looks. Now I wanted to do some square layers inside a square card, so I kind of went for every other layer. So I started by putting them onto my little panel, and then I quickly worked out that actually I liked having a bit of a gap in there. So I decided to do every second die. So I took out the middle one and then gave myself a bit of a larger gap. And then that way I could ink up all my edges and stick it back down together, and you get kind of a cool look to it. And I could have popped some of the layers up on foam, but I decided to keep them all flat just to see how it would look, and I really like how it turned out. So to hold all my dies in place, I'm using that low tack tape again. I've run it through my Big Shot. And then here you can see all those layers when I pop it out, and you'll see it in just a second. I didn't want to bore you all again with inking up all those edges, but it looks stunning when it's all glued down on a piece of gold foil. So there you can see those layers. I've inked up those edges, and it is so pretty and gives you such a shine. And again, this one you could cut out some of those layers so that you've got the gold foil shining through as well. Now here's another one that I did with one of my homemade papers, and I just popped it up on some foam. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that one yet. For all the cards that I did finish off for you today, I have used word dies. I feel like sometimes with the background being so amazing and vibrant and kind of crazy, I don't want to add too much more to the card. I want to just put a sentiment on there and sort of finish it off. So that's what I did with all of these cards that I'm sharing with you that are finished now. I used a big sentiment, stuck that on the front. I either layered it up with a few layers of cardstock, or I just glued it straight down on top of the card background that I had created. On some of my cards, I also used some Nuvo drops just to add a bit more character to them. So finishing off these cards is really simple to do. It really doesn't take much at all, and the end result is absolutely stunning and gorgeous. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to WOW's YouTube channel. All the information will be down in the description box below for you, and I hope you have a fabulous week, and I'll see you next month for my next tutorial. Take care. Bye for now.